Live from Israel. We're talking about the Iranian deal, and then we have a breaking story to talk to you about Chattanooga. Jerry, I'm tossing this to you for the last question to Dr. Sherman.
Dr. Sherman, our colleague who could not be here today, Shoshana Bryan, and her husband, Dr. Stephen Bryan, published an American Thinker piece not too many days ago. And she spoke about it on another radio program earlier this week. And that's the question of, is it now time for Israel to seriously consider eliminating the ambiguity, shall we say, on its nuclear and ICBM programs, to the extent that Iran would be told, essentially, what sort of deterrence it is basically facing now that Israel has the capability of to essentially deter them in case that they do something like cheat on their program.
Difficult question really to answer, but I'm not sure that I'd go along with that position. I think that Israel should refrain from doing anything that would give an overt excuse to other powers to acquire nuclear arms. I think the nuclear ambiguity has served Israel well, and I'm sure that the Iranian intelligence services are effective enough to actually know roughly what Israel's deterrent ability is, which has now also become submarine-based. Everybody knows that the newly acquired submarines are cruising around various international waters, particularly for second strike capability. Wow. So I would imagine that the Iranian intelligence, especially if they're aided by other intelligence agencies, have enough information to have a fair idea of what Israel could do if the Iranians were to use the weapons that they have against Israel. There are many experts on Islam who know more about it than I do, who seem to think that even though second strike capability and mutually assured destruction is not necessarily a deterrent for a Shiite motivated regime, who actually see the final destruction as an inducement rather than an impediment for launching an attack.
I'm going to let you go. It's very late. It's almost midnight in Israel. Dr. Sherman, Jerry will stay on with me. We have much to discuss still, but I want to thank you. That was quite an insightful comment that you just made, and we will use that as we continue in our analysis. And I want to thank you, Dr. Sherman, for being on our show. I say to you, Shalom and Laila Tov, and please tell our friends in Israel that the National Security Task Force and many others here are doing all they can to lobby Congress to throw this deal to the wind. I thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you for having me, and shalom.
Shalom. Lehigorot. Jerry, I found that to be fascinating. Actually, I had never thought of that. But, Jerry, you said something on the air this week, your Florida group, and I found that nobody is discussing that. You and Omri were talking about it from the Israel Project, that the structure of the deal, that the four-door complex becomes the international center of nuclear power, and that many international groups will be there working with them. So the deal that was supposed to be no deal is turned into a deal that puts the EU and everybody right in the center of helping Iran become a nuclear power.
I think it's captured in a comment, actually, in a recent interview that was done with